Hello and welcome to the Reseller Webinar on growing enterprise mobile deployments through Zero Touch. On today's webinar, we're going to quickly go through what Zero Touch is, why it is important to customers, and what are the benefits to resellers of becoming a Zero Touch partner. Today, you will be presented by Paul Clark and Antonio Alonso. And all the slides we're going to be sharing are private and confidential. Android Zero Touch Enrollment quickly and simply deploys Android devices at scale with full management and applications personalized to each employee's needs. Supported by a growing ecosystem of device manufacturers and management providers, Zero Touch allows you to configure purchased Android devices online while the devices are being delivered direct to the end users for an out-of-the-box activation. Automated deployments reduces dependency on internal IT support, while accelerated device delivery and simplified activation processes create better user experiences. Everybody wins with Android Zero Touch. And today it's going to be myself, Paul Clark, EMEA Regional Manager, and also...
Hello everyone, my name is Antonio Alonso, so we'll be co-presenting this session. So I'm also a Regional Manager for Android Enterprise here in EMEA. So before we introduce Zero Touch, with Android Enterprise we already added new ways to deploy Android corporate devices with an EMM. You don't no longer require Gmail accounts. Since Android 5, we already introduced things such NFC in order to bump the device. With Android 6, we've introduced the EMM token, so you could add a specific AFW hashtag EMM code instead of your Gmail account in order to deploy the device. With Android 7, we introduced the QR code, so you could tap 6 times on the welcome screen in order to download a QR camera. But with Android 8, what we have introduced is this new method called Zero Touch. So what is Zero Touch? Zero Touch is a seamless setup and deployment of corporate-owned devices, which is available from Android 8, from Oreo devices. So as soon as you boot up the device, and the device gets connectivity, whether it's through Wi-Fi or 4G connection, it's going to identify that this device has been Zero Touch, and automatically will go into this setup wizard, as you can see in the screen, and it will set up the device with the right EMM agent. So for the user, it's automatic. As soon as the device is connected, it's automatically go into this setup to install the right EMM agent. So if we look at the benefits, obviously, because this EMM agent and client is going to automatically be installed, it's an enforced management with more security for the organization. So the device will always be under management. There is no way to escape out of this setup wizard. So the EMM client will always have to be installed in this device. So you make sure that the security controls are always in place. Obviously, this enables large Android deployments because it's going to be much easier and faster to enroll all the Android corporate devices. And obviously, it's a deterrent for device theft because you know that that device belongs to the company and is logged into the company policies through the EMM. So obviously, this is simple for the IT users. And it's flexible for them because the configuration, as we will see later on, is done through a configuration process in a console. So they don't have, all the devices don't necessarily have to go through IT. The devices can go directly from the reseller into the end user. So there is really no manual intervention. Everything is done over the air. Everything is done in an automatic way. And this for IT, it's help to reduce the help tickets, because for the end users, it's much easier to enroll the device. And it gives more options for device to be automatically enrolled through this setup. So obviously for IT, we've seen some of the benefits, but also for all the users, it's much better because it's a streamlined setup. As soon as you boot up the device, you will see this and you get connectivity. the device will go into this automatic setup, into this wizard. So the user only has to click next a couple of times. So it's a direct enrollment, and this really made ready for work for the users to go into the setup. So now we'll see, I pass it over to Paul to see how this works.
Thanks, Antonio. So as we said before, Zero Touch is for Android Oreo devices and above. And once you've done that simple, streamlined enrollment process that Antonio took us through, you can deploy your devices within different modes. So via your EMM, you will be able to deploy your device in a personally enabled, fully managed work profile mode. You'll be able to deploy in a business-only, fully managed mode, and you'll be able to deploy in a dedicated, fully managed mode as well. So what are these three options, and when would you use them? So the first one, you have this split between a personal space and a workspace. You can see this by the different color badges associated with the apps. So whenever there's a work app, you're going to have a orange or blue briefcase in the bottom right-hand corner of that app. But whenever you have a personal app, it looks like a usual app that the user's used to. This is absolutely perfect when you want to allow a user to have both work and personal on the device, and gives a great user experience for that user not to carry around two devices, one for work and one for themselves. The second mode is a fully managed business-only mode. This is where there's no personal apps on the device. Everything is a work application that's deployed via the IT admin. And what this means is that you will have only one Play Store for your applications, and you will be able to restrict that Play Store to only the applications that a business wants their user to use. And lastly, you have a dedicated but still a fully managed device, and this fully managed device can be locked down into one or a subset of apps. We see this commonly used in the kiosk type mode, or also as a navigation or tablet for various different use cases. A key thing to mention here is that this isn't used for anything other than corporate-owned device, so we don't recommend it for BYOD with the work profile. So there's three major different elements of Zero Touch. The first one is the Android platform, and this is where Zero Touch can be optionally added to OEMs or device manufacturers' hardware when building a device on Oreo or above. This allows for that instant over-the-air enrollment straight out of the box experience. The second pillar is the Zero Touch platform itself. So this is a platform where both the reseller and the customer can go on separate sites. We will see this later on in the demonstration, and what we'll show is the reseller can add the new devices and also add customers on their side of the platform. And then on the customer side of the platform, they can access the console and assign those devices to have particular EMMs associated with them. The third pillar is the EMMs themselves. They have done integration to enable Zero Touch on their consoles so that the EMM that you use today can use Zero Touch as an enrollment process. So how does it work? So from a customer's perspective, there's 4 steps in an easy flow. The first one is that the company X, would buy 100 Zero Touch devices from their reseller. In the Zero Touch platform, the reseller would then create a customer account, creating a unique ID for that customer and enabling the reseller to add those 100 devices to that customer. The reseller can then ship the 100 devices to company X, and that is their part done. Then, from the company's perspective, they can log on to their side of the portal and create a EMM config and decide on which EMM application they would like to use to download to those 100 devices. And then simply in step 4, the company ex-employees will receive one of those 100 devices, start it up as we see, and straight out of the setup wizard, the EMM policies will be applied and deployed while also applying factory reset protection. So let's take a quick look at how resellers and customers can deploy zero-touch devices via the zero-touch portal. So here is the zero-touch portal for the reseller. So what you will see is I will have a variety of different options down the left-hand side, one of them including My Customers. So if I go to My Customers, I will see that I will have a variety of different customers that I've created that I can deploy devices to. If I wanted to create a new customer, like Customer Z, I would quickly click on Create Customer, type in Company Z, the email addresses, and get that customer created. So I've created a customer earlier. We're going to be using EMEA Customer 2 for this demo today. And you can see associated with that is this unique customer ID. So once I have a customer set up, I can then upload devices that can be ZT enabled to that customer. So I'll do that now. There's 2 options you can do this, ways of doing this. One is the manual method, uploading a CSV file, which I'll show you today. The other one is using APIs and integrating it with your backend systems. And that can often be a quicker way of enrolling devices. However, let's look at the manual one. So the manual one is you would need to upload a CSV file to the console. And here is one I've made earlier. What the key identifiers we need to be able to zero touch a device is firstly the IMEI number. The second one is the name of the manufacturer. So in this case, we're using Google as using Pixel devices. And the third one is that unique customer ID number here. So here is the list of devices I'm going to upload to the console. So I will quickly download this as a CSV file, like so. Go to the customer, click upload, and upload the IMEI numbers. And as you can see now, in real time, it is loading the IMEIs onto the portal. While it does that, it will then send you feedback if it's been successful or not. And if it hasn't, then it will tell you why. And here's an example of that. As you can see, it's been successful. So now you've done that, these devices can be zero-touch enrolled. And if you want to search for the devices via either the IMEI number, the customer ID or name, you can do so in the device search part of the console. So that's great. That's my job done as a reseller. Now let's see what we do from a customer's perspective. So Antonio, I've deployed 2 zero-touch devices to you. Let's see what you do from a customer perspective.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reseller. So now I'm the customer, and this is the portal I would be able to access with the devices that, in this case, the reseller, Mr. Paul Clark, has added to my account. So if I go to manage people, here I would see all the people that have access to this portal. I could add more people, give them different role permissions in order to access the console. When I go to resellers, I would be able to see my customer ID, which is the unique ID which has been created by the reseller. So Paul was the first reseller who created this. So he created this customer ID for me. And then I could have multiple resellers and just use one unique customer ID. So you can see here that I have currently 2 active resellers, but there is a bunch of other resellers which we are working in order to enable. And I could easily enroll with them in order to have devices bought from different resellers. Then when we go into the devices, I would be able to see here the list of devices. So you saw from Paul who added 2 devices into my account. So I can see here the 2 EMEIs which have been created. And automatically, because I have an EMM configuration already defined, those devices have gone directly into this EMM configuration, which I'll explain now how it works. You can see the option of unregistering in case I decide to unregister those devices in the future. So we give that option also to both resellers and customers. When we go into the configurations, I can see that by default, I have one already defined, which I created and defined for all the devices which have been unloaded, which is ZT Webinar 18. So when I apply that one, it's going to go automatically into currently devices enrolled, but also new devices that will be added in the future in my platform. You can see that on the bottom I have 4 EMM configurations already defined, but I can click on the plus button and then decide to add new EMM configuration. So it's easy as just selecting the configuration name, going to the EMM DPC, which you will see the menu of all the EMM clients that are currently compatible with Zero Touch. So as you can see, there is a list of more than 25 EMMs which currently are compatible with Zero Touch. So I just have to select the one that I want to use, for example, Test DPC for the purpose of this demo. And then within DPC extras, I could add additional configuration. So I could push a specific URL server. I could push even the username and the password. So that's automatically pushed into the EMM client once installed after the Zero Touch flow on the device. And that's basically it. The only pieces would be the company name, email contact, phone contact, a custom message, which is when you boot up, when the device goes for the first time into this Zero Touch setup, it will provide a link in case users want to contact the IT admin with that type of information. So as a customer, that's basically it. I just select the EMM configuration and then I apply it to the devices which my reseller has already uploaded. So it's as easy as you can see, and it doesn't require much effort from the IT side in order to configure everything and have all the devices up and running very smoothly. So over to you, Paul, so we can switch to the slides.
Thanks, Antonio. So as you saw, it was very, very quickly and easy for both the Zero Touch reseller and also the customer to quickly and securely get the EMM on the device and to enable Zero Touch. There is a vast array of fantastic Zero Touch partners that is working on this enrollment method. So you can see now the OEMs and the device manufacturers that are available with Zero Touch. And those coming soon. We also have a fantastic range of different EMMs that you use, and it increases the speed and simplicity that devices can enroll into EMM management. So it's great to see the uptake from all the major EMMs out there. So what are the benefits to a reseller to offer Zero Touch to their users? The first and obvious one that you've seen today is it simplifies the EMM deployments that you have. So whereas before there may have had to be pre-staging or difficulties in either your customer or yourselves preloading EMMs onto the deployments, Zero Touch really reduces the complexities and cost of deploying devices. This can also increase the rollout and speed of projects and the sales cycle from deploying this end to end. And not only does it simplify it from a deployment perspective, but from a sales perspective, it really simplifies the message that your sales teams can give to customers. The second major element and benefit to yourselves as a reseller is that it's becoming a customer requirement that automated enrollment of EMM on mobile devices is necessary to get customers productive as soon as possible. So we are now seeing more and more this being a requirement and being part of customers' RFP and tender processes. Thirdly, it increases the value of a reseller to a customer. Customers often look to their partners for solutions rather than single transactions, and Zero Touch enables you to offer an end-to-end experience rather than just deploying the hardware or the EMM, depending on your business model. And lastly, it opens the door to additional services. So complementary services such as deployment, support, professional services, and change management can be enhanced by offering the Zero Touch solution. You can also deploy additional software solutions using Zero Touch, such as EMM, security services, or work-based applications. And now let's have a look at who's launched as a partner and how others can get involved. Over to you, Antonio.
Thanks, Paul. So hopefully by now you're convinced about all the benefits and all the value that Zero Touch provides. And you're just thinking, okay, how do I become a reseller? How can I start offering this to my customers? So basically, one of the main requirements is that you sell devices into B2B, that you are able to provide Android devices, corporate Android devices into your B2B customers. We have created a Zero Touch reseller community that you can access through an application form. Once you have access and fill up that form, you will be able to join this community with all the latest information, with all the ongoing discussions, relevant information about APIs, and also they will seller console for you to start working on it, testing it, before going through a validation in order to become an official reseller. There is also a standard contract to be signed in order to start providing this feature as an official Zero Touch reseller. So that's something that we will be providing to you as well in order to review with your legal teams and be able to sign it. Obviously, this is a free solution from Google. We don't charge any cost, and you can decide how do you offer this into the market, what is your go-to-market model with this type of solution. As you can see, we already have many partners which are offering Zero Touch globally. There is both carriers, telco operators, distributors, VARs. So we're in the process of enabling many more. As you saw in the demo, there are many more which have a reseller console and are going through this testing and contract discussions or contract signature. So you'll see this list which keeps increasing and increasing in the coming weeks. So that's great to see the momentum and the interest both from customers but also from resellers. So as a conclusion and the last slide of the webinar, you can see that Zero Touch really enabled this seamless enrollment into management, which is good both for admins but also for the end users. It's an easy process, it's secure, helps for global deployments because it's a global solution, not restricted to any country. As we have seen, we have a list fast growing of resellers globally, and we see a huge interest and huge demand both from customers and from resellers to sign up and start using this Zero Touch functionality. Even more today that there are more and more devices in the market with which are in rail. So we see in the last 3-4 months a good uptake of customer deploying through this method. And obviously this brings value to the reseller, but also to the OEM because it allows them to for the customers to easily deploy their devices, but also for the EMMs, obviously, which is a faster process to install the agents, install the clients, so the end users can be up and running with all the policies in place. So with that, we would like to thank you very much for your time and hope you enjoyed this webinar.
Thank you all. Bye.